Okay, go live anyway. Welcome everyone. This is Renee and we are coming live. We just tried to go live before. This is a funny kind of story. We tried to go live before and it was a test run, and now it looks like we are going live now. I can see that we are live on Facebook. This is good. I'm with Julia Lara Shay, and welcome, Julia.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I'm hoping we can keep going through what we were talking about before, because before we thought we were going live and we actually weren't. So there you go. So how about you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I'm a counsellor and social worker, and I've been in practice probably for the last 15 years, maybe a little bit more. Mostly around counselling. So social work's probably, more of a kind of new addition. So within counselling, I've worked with a lot of different client groups and with a lot of different issues, anything from sort of complex mental health to drug and alcohol issues to family issues. I also worked as a youth worker at some point. I've worked in drug and alcohol services, as I said. Yeah, so all sorts of different stuff. And I also really, really enjoy working with people around spiritual awakening and sacred partnerships as well. That encompasses soulmates and twin flame relationships. Really fascinating stuff. So I guess you could call me a bit of an intermediary, if you will. So, a bit of a bridge between, I guess, more traditional sort of therapeutic methods and I guess more sort of newer metaphysical kind of modalities, which I find, equally fascinating and just as valuable as each other. So, yeah, so that's me.
Yeah, I'm finding this a fascinating conversation. I was before too. And I think I work in very similar ways, but maybe just coming at it from a different angle, which is like, we all have put our own flavour. So I'm keen to find out, I guess, a little bit about what you think you'll be doing at the conference.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, and as I was saying before, I just wanted to, really thank you for inviting me. It's a great opportunity. So, you've done a lot of amazing work getting this together. So thank you so much, Renee. Yeah, so I guess my role at the conference will really be to speak about my vision, but also it's obviously quite a shared kind of collaborative vision within the healthcare and mental health sort of space. To, sort of eventually create a very ethical and sustainable service for both clients and practitioners alike. So for the last, I'd say probably 4 or 5 months or so, I've been actively conducting market research interviews via phone mostly, sometimes via video chat too, with clients, sorry, not clients, you can tell I've been working hard this week, with practitioners rather. So, counsellors, therapists, psychologists, but also, other mental health workers, just around kind of their experiences, working within, I guess, the sort of mainstream paid workforce, what their main struggles have been. And what they see as being the sort of, the ultimate in terms of, I guess, the service that they would ultimately like to work for and what that would kind of look like. So yeah, it's been incredibly interesting getting that sort of very honest grassroots perspective. Yeah, it's really, really very valuable, and I'm very, very thankful to everyone that I've spoken to. And so, with that kind of understanding, I'm really sort of seeking to I guess put together a sort of first and foremost a grant application perhaps, to try and really get this off the ground in terms of establishing a really, really, ethically based service that's also very holistic as well, that has, a multidisciplinary team of very, very skilled practitioners you know, a one-stop shop, if you will, for clients, you know, and perhaps it'd be more in a sort of a wellness centre type setting to get the support that they really, really need that perhaps is not really out there at the moment, consistently that is, you know, but also a service that provides adequate support for practitioners, you know, so that they can really do their job, you know, well, you know, I guess feel like they're adequately supported and also get recognition, you know, for their amazing skills and talents. So yeah, so that's kind of the end game, and that's what I'll be sort of talking about in various creative ways at the conference. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're going to be doing some vision boarding too, and I'm wondering how you might be assisting people with that, and so that they can take their business or practice to kind of their next level. What do you envisage being able to do with the vision boarding?
With the vision boarding, I think, you know, it's incredibly important, and considering the theme of this conference as well, to really take a very collaborative approach. So I guess, you know, I'm a very creative person as well. You know, I'm a visual artist. I love painting and photography, and I also sort of, you know, do that, you know, aside my my therapeutic sort of practices. So you know, I imagine that I will be kind of, you know, throwing it out to the audience really, and just sort of saying, you know, what are the main kind of words that, you know, really stand out in your mind when you think of a truly ethical service? You know, is it sort of collaboration or, you know, things like that, and then kind of building a vision board around that with the audience, you know. So it's that very, very much, as I said, that kind of collaborative sort of approach, you know, maybe even, you know, throw a bit of, you know, get together with the person next to you and have a bit of a chat about what you sort of think, and, you know, have a bit of a brainstorm, and then we'll come back to the big group and we'll kind of put it together on the vision board, you know. So, yeah, so, I mean, you know, that collaborative approach, as I said, but also encompassing my creative side, my visual side, and sharing that with the audience, because I'm sure that there are going to be quite a few people who are, you know, quite creative as well and would really appreciate that too. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic, because, you know, we've got a few sign-ups already. We've got people who are online, so people can come online or face-to-face. I've got people coming face-to-face, got people coming online. We'll see how we go with, you know, how many we get, but we're definitely going ahead and now. It's great. So I'm wondering, just in terms of what you feel that people will hopefully get from the whole conference, given that you're going to be the MC. So I'm wondering
what they'll get from the whole conference. Wow, what a question. I think they'll get lots and lots from the conference. I mean, there's going to be people presenting who are exquisitely skilled, you know, very experienced, coming from sort of all walks of life and all walks of service delivery, you know, whether that be, you know, as we were saying, you know, counselling, sort of healthcare, or whether that be kind of marketing, and so it's not only applicable to say people who are working within the healthcare field, but, you know, people outside of that, people who are into entrepreneurship. You know, there's got to be something for everybody.
Yes, that's the point.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, it's taking that core vision that we're talking about, and it's kind of filtering it through every single aspect of this conference. So yeah, as I said, you know, obviously everyone there is from different areas. We're going to kind of, you know, have a lot of exercises, you know, where we're really looking for kind of audience participation and collaboration. I imagine, you know, people will have an opportunity to network and, you know, really ask, you know, the sort of questions they've been burning to ask of people in the know, you know. So, you know, and just sort of chat sort of amongst themselves and make new friends and, you know, all that sort of amazing stuff. So I'd say it's really an event not to be missed. Very, 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 it's going to be great. It's going to be very powerful.
Yes, I have to agree with all of those things. That's been my vision and why I call it Vision for 2020, because it's actually you know, one of my visions along with everyone else's, and I've got in touch with a whole raft of practitioners and professionals. So we've got someone even coming who runs a really ethical, integrative service delivery for practitioners. So he even runs an integrative digital platform. So, you know, there's even people like that. Like if you're wanting to talk to people about, well, why does your platform have X, Y, Z or not? And then there's a social media expert, marketing expert, you know, a kind of, you know, a social entrepreneur as well. So there is a lot of stuff for lots of different people, but particularly people who want to bring their heart into business. I think that's been particularly the overall vision that I've got, but also people who are counselling, therapy and mental health friendly, so that we all are in this together in this world, in the earth, and at this time of crises, whether it's environment or at government levels or whatever we're going through, individually, meso, micro, meso, macro kind of stuff. I know you'd appreciate that. That's also like, well, we've got to change this up and we've got to do this together. And how about we help each other in this process? And that's also part of this too.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Absolutely. And that's why I love the core essence of this conference that you put together. I think that's just beautiful.
I'm wondering, with the pictures I sent through of the actual conference, what did you think about it when you saw the pictures?
Oh, I just thought, you know, looked like a very friendly kind of warm sort of therapy office or environment, you know.
Yes.
The sort of place that you sort of rock up to that you actually really, you know, you feel quite welcomed, you feel quite sort of at ease, you know, you feel like there's sort of a nice sort of homely atmosphere as well, all those sort of things, you know. I guess that can sort of be perhaps a bit of an issue sometimes with, you know, sort of, you know, I guess they're probably, you know, not a great choice of words, but mainstream sort of, you know, offices or, therapy offices where, you know, the client goes in and there's this sort of harsh office lights and, you know, nothing on the walls and it's all very clinical and sterile, you know. And that can be quite sort of off-putting, especially if you haven't sort of attended therapy before and, you know, you feel a bit apprehensive and nervous about being that vulnerable. Having that kind of environment can bring back sort of maybe sort of feelings associated with being in the doctor's office, which, you know, it's just fine. But I guess some of us might have some, you know, some reservations about, you know, being that vulnerable in that environment, as I said. So yeah, great choice of venue. Love it. Looks really, really welcoming and amazing.
Yeah, and so then because of that, there's limited tickets, just so everyone knows. So it's not going to be this massive conference in front of, you know, lecture theatre and hundreds of people. It's actually small. We can only fit kind of between about 40 and 60 people there as a maximum. So it's really got to be quite heart-centered, and you can have those deeper conversations with people. Like, you know, like, tell me really what really happened when... particularly in the breaks. And so, you know, I'd actively encourage people to come, not just sit at home and do it online, but, you know, brave yourself to try to come if you can. And at the moment, I know you've probably seen this, we've got a Black Friday special, and I've done this on purpose because I think this for me is not only my baby, the conference kind of stuff, but it's kind of like with all these people like yourself, we're coming in, it's like, you know, why not take advantage of talking to people with lots of experience? And I want it to be accessible to people to be able to afford it. So it's kind of, it's less than usual conferences are for, you know, one day, and you can get that for two. So it's kind of, it's really, really good price at the moment.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that out. That's such a good deal. Yeah, jump on that Black Friday.
Yes, yeah, and so it goes for another week. So Black Friday started yesterday, but it goes for another week until next Friday. So you've got a chance to still do that. I want to take this opportunity to tell everyone that too. But did you have any final things that you wanted to kind of talk about before we finish up?
Oh, I mean, I guess, yeah, just sort of, bringing it back to that real heart-centered, core of this entire conference. I love that, because that resonates so incredibly deeply with me as a practitioner, but as a human being as well, because I think at the end of the day, if you're sort of coming from a place of wanting to kind of give back, and you're coming from a place of integrity, and you're coming from a place of growth and enlightenment, then there is no separation between your personal and professional life.
Yeah.
And I think that's very much a kind of perhaps maybe an unhelpful sort of division or paradigm that it still exists to this day. You've kind of, it's that sort of sense of you've got your sort of working life persona, and it's very corporate, and it's quite harsh, and it's quite competitive, and it's quite fear driven, and all that sort of stuff, versus who you are on the outside of that, which might be quite different. Whereas I think that the way we're headed, in terms of our new earth paradigm that we're trying to sort of establish and build, that the earth is trying desperately to get us to do, is essentially, yeah, exactly. It's like, listen, this is how it should be. This is the essential core essence of what it means to be an enlightened human being, and to raise the consciousness of humanity. Is that there is as I just said, there is no sort of separation between what you do, your job, your mission, your purpose, and who you are as a person. It's all interrelated. It's all the same.
Yeah.
And I think that the conference that you've sort of given birth to here is very much exemplifying that. It's that whole concept is right throughout. It's thread right throughout it. So yeah, it resonates with me so strongly.
Because I've made sure I'm doing either a welcome or acknowledgement of country at the first. So we're kind of talking to some Indigenous practitioners and people out there who might be doing that. We've made sure that I'm really making sure that I'm trying to do everything right from a heart place, but also an organisational place too. So, trying to, again, balance those two and that kind of in myself. Yeah.
Absolutely. That balance is key. And that's sort of, another adage or additional kind of element to this is, you've essentially, you absolutely have to have that balance perfect. Yeah. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be a part of this. So yeah, thank you again for inviting me, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes, and I think we've got a perfect MC in you, because you'll be good at timekeeping.
This is true. This is true. One of my strong points. So you got the right girl here, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on that note, because we're pretty much out of time, and thank you for listening in, because we really appreciate you listening in, and we're here to help. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, so thanks Julia, and we'll be signing off for now. Thanks everyone.
See you.
Bye for now.